Just back from Lake Hartwell, and we have two Elite Series champions that battled it out on Hartwell this past weekend. That's right, Drew Cook and Paul Marks join me this week. Oh.
I'm Bob Cobb for the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome all friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course you, my humpers. Happy hump day to all of you, and welcome into the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 210th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope wherever you're watching or listening from, that life is treating you well. Thank you for tuning in. Your viewership each and every week truly means the world to me. I think what we have built here is something truly special, a very positive and uplifting community. And I love interacting with you guys, whether it's online, whether it's through socials, whether it's in person. I loved seeing a bunch of humpers this past week in Lake Hartwell. We'll talk about that in a minute. I've asked you guys for help before, and I'm going to ask you guys for help again. The viewership that this show gets it blows my mind. It's way more than I ever imagined we would get, and I am so thankful for that. But it turns out on our streaming platforms, we need more 5-star ratings. We need more reviews. So I think we have a good relationship. I like you, you like me. Well, most of us like each other. But I learned a long time ago the best way to encourage a relationship as well to buy somebody's love. So what I'm going to do, we need 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. This will help our podcast get more noticed, get more seen, and continue to keep the grow going just like it has on YouTube. We've done a lot of YouTube contests. So now this is something for the Spotify and Apple listeners. And hey, if you're a YouTube listener, come on over and just be part of it. All you got to do is leave a 5-star review and a review or a 5-star rating and a review, and we will go through all of those, and we will pick one lucky winner before next week's episode, and we will send them this bad boy right there, an Abu Garcia Revo Premier. It is just a workhorse casting reel, a beautiful, beautiful reel. I'll send it to you free of charge. Show up at your house, and all you have to do is, well, be nice and give us a 5-star review and rating, a 5-star rating and review. So please do that. Let's blast Spotify and Apple this week. I sure could use your help. And again, YouTubers, you're not out. You're welcome to come on over and enter on both ways. So thank you for that. And like I said, all you got to do is be nice. There's some people in the world on the internet not being nice recently. I'm not going to give that any more oxygen than it deserves. Other than met that dude for 1 minute in my entire life. Called that dude up afterwards and said, "What's up?" That dude ended up apologizing to me, told me he didn't mean it like that, but hey, didn't stop it from whatever. I said I wasn't going to give it oxygen, so I'm blowing it out. Let's move on. A lot of positive stuff to talk about. This past week, Neil Paul and his crew from Green Pond Landing, it is state-of-the-art. It is truly a state-of-the-art facility like nothing else. They refer to it, Neil Paul calls it the Yankee Stadium of tournament facilities. You go there and you tell me it's not. It is truly, truly incredible. An amazing place, an amazing tournament this past week. We'll get into that in a second. Lake Hartwell always shows out on the water and off. Another guy who always shows out and deserves a little love is John Cruz and everything he does for autism awareness, autism charities. He's done it for over 10 years. Obviously, if you've been a longtime viewer or if you're a new viewer, I'll just let you know I have an amazing, incredible autistic daughter named Cadence. And this cause is something very near and dear to my heart. So I try to do everything I can to help John with his initiatives and everything that he does with the anglers. This is not run through Bass. This is something that the anglers do themselves. It's headed up by John, and that's what makes it cool. Every single year, he does something different. Last year, it was the year of the caretaker. This year, it was local autism charities, and he hooked up with Grassroots 252 out the Pasquotank River and the Rainbow Gang in Anderson, South Carolina. They're local autism charities. We had a bunch of the kids out that are part of those programs. They had booths at the expo. It was just a great event. I mean, John ended up winning the Fear My Heart Award that Carl Jacobson has talked about on this show, which is just rewarding positivity, rewarding goodness. I don't know. It's back. I don't know why my camera just keeps getting fuzzy, but it's back now. So that's the good news. So he won $1,000 for that and the award, and went ahead and gave it back. A bunch of people donated. I donated $5 per pound for the winning weight at both tournaments. So thank you to everybody that supported this, and thank you to Cruz and everything you continue to do. This past weekend's tournament, Lake Hartwell always shows out. But if you ask me, it got down to the wire that final day, and we are watching an epic battle. I mean, it is a head-to-head battle between Drew Cook, the sight fishing master, and then the herring master, Paul Marks. And watching them trade blow for blow, I mean, it was like watching Drew Cook throw the big haymakers. He was the power puncher with big shots. And Paul Marks just kind of picked him apart, sat on the outside and jabbed him to bits, and ended up winning the tournament. It was truly a sports story for the ages, I think. I mean, I really enjoyed it. So much so that at one point, I told Matty Wong to stop talking because we were doing Bassmaster Livecast. And trust me, I want to hear the anglers always. To me, I love the sound of fishing. I love I love the reel being engaged. I love the line sawing through slop. I love all of that. So at one point I told Matty Wong, please stop talking. So sorry, Matty, I love your talking. But at that moment, I just wanted to hear Drew Cook. I just wanted to hear Paul Marks. It was an incredible tournament. It was a lot of fun to cover, and great feedback since it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And here's something cool that we got here this week. We have both of those anglers on the show. I stuck around after the event because I was going to be part of an Outdoor Brands media shoot that we did with AFTCO and Beatdown Mounts, and had a lot of fun doing that. But that allowed us to sit down with both Drew Cook and Paul Marks. And this was recorded less than 24 hours after they competed for the title. So this will give you a really good idea of what it's like for the anglers to go through, what it's like to win and what it's like to just be so close to winning. They're very open. They're very honest. Got to thank the guys at Outdoor Brands they set us up in a boardroom at the hotel and we knocked this out. We have sound issues at some points, but we didn't shoot this in a traditional way. So hopefully you will ignore those. And I've been told to stop playing with water bottles when I'm recording podcasts. And that's why I don't use a water bottle normally. So yeah, let's jump right into things. We can talk forever, but thank you guys for making this happen. I hope you enjoy it. First, we sit down with Drew Cook, less than 24 hours after coming close to being a two-time Elite Series champion. And then we are joined by the champion, Paul Marks. Giddy up. Let's do this. Drew Cook.
Hey, Mercer.
Hasn't been 24 hours. Does this suck?
It does suck a little bit. It stings pretty bad. But I don't regret anything. I regret a little bit, but not. I'd do it all again.
Yeah.
Maybe start on a point and catch 13 pounds.
Feel you could have?
Oh, yeah. I went and fished a point that I normally fish today. And the first one I caught was a 3 1/4. Second one was a 3-pounder. It's like, gosh, that was dumb.
You went out again this morning.
I did. I went back for old Betty. She was gone though, unfortunately, because I wanted to wear her.
Yeah.
That's I mean, God, I thought you were going to catch that fish.
I did too. I thought I was going to catch her up until she swam away. And when she swam away, she really swam away. So that was kind of soul sucking. Why do you think she swam away? Do you think you just bothered it to the point that it was like, screw this? Man, and it happened a couple of times this week. These fish in particular are really weird. Why, I don't know. And they're weird in like two different aspects. Like there's more multi-fish beds here than anywhere ever. And the state of South Carolina as a whole, you see it on Santee, you see it here and other lakes in South Carolina. But like, dude, at home, I've seen 3 fish, on one bed a couple times, but I've never seen 7. Here in 2019, I found one of those beds and I caught 20 pounds off one bed and left 2 4-pounders on it for the third day. And I came back the third day and there was 5 spotted bass on that bed. There was not a spot on the bed day 2. There was 5 of them on it on day 3. And it's just one of those weird deals here. I don't know why. There's got to be some type of, I guess, neurological type something with these bass that does it. But I think these bass spawn a lot of times. Bass in general spawn or false spawn. Do you think they're actually actively spawning multiple times? I think these females are spawning 2, 3, 4 times during the spring. Wow. Because the reason I say that, I caught a fish from day 1 and day 2 that still had her eggs pre-spawn, but had old sores from like a month ago on both of them. And so like they spawned and then came back and spawned. And I've seen it at home with the same fish. I've caught the same fish, almost 2 months apart in the same cove, had the same birthmark, everything, both times on bed, and both times just plump, One thing that you took as a win this week, and I don't know if you've fully been able to absorb what's happened. Obviously, it hasn't even been 24 hours, but dude, your skills and the amount of respect that people have for you as a sight angler were on full display. When did your sight fishing prowess start? Like, how young were you? Oh man, you could go all the way back to being like 3 and 4 years old. The brim and the shiners are like underneath the dock that are always, when you walk on the dock, they're all sketchy and stuff, like, scaring them off and leaving a worm down there for when they come back, being able to catch them. And just, there's something about like sight fishing. It's hunting and fishing like put together because you're creeping around, you're trying to sneak up on them, and you're looking for them. That's just, I don't know, it's what I love to do, and being able to do it as much as I have been able to do it at home. Because like from January to May, you can sight fish at home. So that helps a lot. There's other parts of the country you get to do it for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe, and that's it. So getting to do it that much, I think that's one of the reasons why me and Benton are good at it, because we got to do it so much growing up. Yeah. But it's a gamble. I mean, as you saw, it can pay off and it can not. Aside from doing it a lot, why do you think you're good at it? I have really good eyes. There's no doubt about that. But I think that, and just probably because I'm stubborn too. Yeah. But like there's a difference between like it being stubborn on one and getting personal with one. Yeah. So like you still got to know like when it's not gonna bite. But like I never fished for one this week that I thought was not gonna bite, and I caught every damn one of them but one. The one. How big was that fish? She was in between 6 or 7. I thought she was going to be closer to 7. That's why I spent so much time on it, because it was all I needed. Yeah. I mean, that was the tournament right there.
What do you think the biggest mistake people make sight fishing?
Getting too close to them, or no, first off, looking too close to the boat whenever they're looking.
Yeah.
So like, and my camera guy commented on a couple times, like, I'm looking way up the bank. Most people are looking right here, beside the boat. And I'm not saying I'm not looking back and forth, but like, we would, go by one and you'd hear him turn his camera and you're like, I already saw it. Because Wes Miller made me look like an idiot here one time. He was calling one a 4-pounder by the boat and, doing 4, whatever. I already seen it. It was a 2.5-pounder. Like, it didn't matter. But he'd hear him move. And I'm like, yeah, I already saw that one. And there's another one coming right up here. Like, seeing them that far up there is what, because half the time you can catch them on the first cast. And then you're not, spending all that time on it. But if you can see them before they see you, the chances are way higher of getting them caught quicker. And just being able to, like, you hear these stories all the time. I was fishing for this fish and it was being stubborn, and then out of nowhere a 6-pounder swims up there and eats my stuff. Well, there's probably a lot of 6-pounders that you never saw, but you caught the male and kept on going, and that's where I think the difference is, looking for those fish sitting out from it. And, now we have live scope. That helps a lot for some of those guys, just being able to pan out there. And if they see a blob somewhere close to it, there's a highly good chance it's a female. But
did you use that at all this week?
No.
Intentionally?
Kind of. I was trying to win one for the old school guys. And man, it's like, don't throw me in the briar patch. You know what I mean? Like, this was a fastball right over home plate, because half the people were like, it's done, they're gone. The other half the people were up there on the bank, but all their bedding fish left. So they're on the points going back and forth, everything. So you kind of had it all to yourself. Yeah. And it was like, I cannot believe Cox didn't make the top 10. Yeah. This was a John Cox tournament, I had 4 fish at 255, and then, I caught my 5th one. Like that was this type of week. I came back to this fish, 3 days and finally caught her sitting on a tree. But it was, I don't know, it was too teed up.
Yeah. This one hurt for a while, you think?
No, I'll be over it after today. I mean, I'll still feel it a little bit, but you get one day.
One day. Then after today, you just focus on the next one?
Next one.
Did you have to learn to do that?
I did. Had to learn to do that. Because I used to, it'd be like 2 weeks, and we'd be at the next tournament. I'm like, God, if I'd have just landed that one or whatever, I would have won. And I've been close a lot, especially like last year in a different league. Dude, you
can say the name. It's okay.
Yeah, in the MPFL, like it.
I always find, like, it's when you say a different league, it's like when people are like, I'm going to show that outboard company, and they put duct tape over the name. Yeah. You're like, that just makes more people want to look at
the I don't know what it is. But like, I think 4 or 5 times last year, like, I was one bite away, or I lost the bass, whatever, from winning. I mean, it's $100,000. So I was kind of mad at him. And then last week at Norman, like, I finished 5th or something like that. Hackney won. But the second day of that tournament, I found a bed that had, I know now what it was, a 5'11" female, and then a bigger one and a 3'7" male.
Okay.
So I find this trio on the bed, and I've got 20 minutes, and they're teed up. Like, I'm fixing to catch one. It's going to be awesome. And Patrick blows his motor. He's like, I need a ride. So I'm like, dang. But I'm a good friend. Left, went, and Patrick had already trolled almost to the boat ramp, and I only had like 9 minutes, so I couldn't go back around there. And I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll start on them in the morning and, I'll catch at least one of them and find another big one and we'll have a good bag. I started on there and they're all gone. It's weird because there, a lot of them would pull off and they'd pull back up.
Yeah.
During the same day. So I came back later that afternoon. There's a guy, his son and grandson on the dock. And like I creep around the dock and I'm standing on top of my trolling motor, bombing it up there. Like I know exactly where it's at and everything. And he was like, yeah, come down here yesterday and I've seen one rolling on the side on that green spot. Went up there, got my pole. It was a 5'11". I was like, and it wasn't even that big one. He said the male was a nice one too. It was a 37. I was like, shit, I weighed in a 180 something yesterday. Like all of those were good fish. But so I was kind of teed up for this one after that.
Fishing in a league, and you mentioned NPFL, but fishing in a league that doesn't allow forward-facing sonar versus a league that does allow it, the elites, how does that feel different for you? Like, do you feel different going into competition there?
Yeah. Because, you in the back of your mind, you're not worried about them people out there in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, finding, fish in La La Land. Like, you're fishing against everybody doing the same stuff. But one thing I do find, and I know Patrick feels the same way, like, man, you'll go to skip something underneath the dock, and you'll automatically pan your trolling motor over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's force of habit now to do it that way. And by the end of the week, hell, you're not even looking down anymore. You're just throwing it. But, 360's been pretty big over there. Used it a lot more this year than I ever have, especially like at the first one at Santee with the grass. Yeah, it helped a lot. But I don't know. It's nice to know whenever you get to a tournament, you don't have to rig up that stuff, minnows and stuff. But you're gonna rig up big line. Always gonna have a jig now. Because it's gonna be a player.
It's more traditional.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's like you're reading the old book. Like I've got to go here do this. It's fun.
Do you think about that stuff a lot when you're competing on the elites? Like when I watched you compete, I felt like here's a guy who's fishing. Number one, it felt like you were fishing very fluid. Like you weren't. We've seen people bed fish in the past where they went and GPS'd 700 waypoints of beds. It felt like you were pulling into pockets and you were finding fish and you were
just going
super free. So when you're doing that, are you thinking about what's happening out there, or is that a pre-tournament thing?
Yeah, that's a pre-tournament thing. You can't think about that stuff because it is what it is. And like knowing this week, I had to tell my wife, like, look, I'm going to get my ass kicked in the mornings. Like, it's going to happen. But we can only weigh in 5. Like, just give me some time and we'll get back over there. Because, I knew they were going to start on here and stuff. Knew they were going to catch them. And, they were going to have a good base right out the get where I was going to have, 1 or 2. But, if I'm fishing just for 5 bass, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. If you were running bass tomorrow, said, hey, here's the keys. You're running this. You're making the decision. What would you do with forward-facing sonar? And I don't mean just for you personally. I mean,
I would do where you get half and half. And the schedule comes out and you have a coin toss. You can bet on it online and be like, everybody watch it. It'd be like the draft almost.
Yeah.
And flip a coin, whichever one wins heads gets the first, third, 7th, or 5th, 7th, 9th tournament. They get 5 tournaments with it, and you get 4 tournaments without it, or vice versa, or whatever. And the schedule's already out there, so it's not like we're cherry picking them. It is what it is. We might go to Okeechobee and you get to use it, which is actually a deal now. But something like that, or the Sabine River, you get to use it. Or we might go to St. Lawrence River, you don't get to use it, and it would change a lot. I think we would catch them a lot. It'd be a lot funner.
Yeah.
For some things, like you'd see a lot of jerk bait or, not staring down, but just like bomb and jerk baits, throwing hair jigs, spinner baits and chatter baits and stuff for smallmouth. And it'd be different.
Yeah.
But, and I feel like that's a win-win. I don't want to divide anything up, but like the scopers get their chance and the others don't. They get their everybody gets their chance, or at least like just make it the classic where you can't do it or something.
And I don't, when you say I don't want to divide it up, and the world's got enough division, especially bass fishing, but I don't know that that's an insult. Like to be like, hey, that's a scoper. It's become an insult because people are so passionate and hate it so much. But ultimately, to me, it's like the offshore guys versus the shallow water guys. It's always been there, but it was never an insult. It was just like, hey, he's going to go out there and go out and do his thing. And somebody like you's always, I think it's natural that somebody like you's, if you're not in the tournament, you want to see a John Cox win. Oh, somebody that fishes the way you do.
John Cox, though, is a different animal.
Yes, 100%.
He's never had a transducer. He's the guy that shows up with 5 rods. Literally won a tournament here on Hartwell. Caught every bass almost the first 3 days of it with a spinning rod. Had one spinning rod. Camera guy gets in his boat. Day 4 morning, breaks the spinning rod, and he said, we'll go throw a swim jig and a chatterbait. And wins the tournament. But he's just like water off a duck's back to him.
Yeah. He's a freak. He's like nobody on the elites. Mm-mm. His whole theory, what he's told me about forward facing, he's like, he's scared of it almost. And why he's scared, he's like, so much of my fishing is looking up. So much of my fishing is, look at that bird over there. Yeah. Look, there's frogs jumping off the shore. There's like so many of his clues. And he's like, if I start looking at that, not that, he could obviously do that. He's also in other technically ends of fishing, he's proved that he can catch them, but he's also like, that's just not how I fish. And
he's got a valid point with that.
Oh, 100%.
Like, this week here, going in and out of docks, when you get on the outside, you're always like, just looking around, checking it out, but you miss that great big one that's underneath the float, or like you miss seeing the tip of the nose underneath the walkway up there, like. And when you miss that, like there's no getting it back.
Well, I feel like I'm forever with my kids talking about this, but while you're texting, you're missing the war. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go drive somewhere with somebody who's like nonstop texting and ask them what they saw. They saw nothing. They saw text. But somebody else who's got nothing, and they're just made to focus on that. Yeah, Cox is wild. Would you, and I don't even know if you want to answer this, but obviously you and Benton are pretty much regarded as 2 of the best, if not the best, sight anglers. Would you say, like, if you had to pick sight anglers that you can't pick either you or Benton?
Cox. 100%.
It's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
Is there any differences the way he sight fishes versus you guys?
There is. And that's why I've threatened a couple of different people with this. Like, I want to sit with Cox and just put a camera in the corner and just get to talking about sight fishing. Because I've learned a lot from him, the way he does some things. He likes the spinning rod a lot more, but also the elevation that he gets sometimes, and I've used it a bunch, and he's got a whole deal figured out, and I've got a deal figured out. It's a little bit different. Me and Benton are fairly similar with ours, but we could all, everybody learns, and just little subtle things. His little pulling thing is there's a lot of things he does that that are, you know.
It's funny you said that you would love to sit. I mean, and I quickly said this to you in the doc, but Easton Fothergill said that to me at the gas station. We were just socially talking, and I was congratulating him on making the top 10. He's like, I'm going to tell you the most impressive thing that happens in this sport, that is happening in this sport of all the stuff going on. He says is what Cook does as a sight angler. He's like, man, I would do anything to spend a day. And he says, I don't even need to fish. I just want to watch him. Like, he's that amazed by you. What does that mean when you hear that?
Means he wants to book a guy trip. But I'm not doing that anymore because I done took Trey McKinney when he was a little kid. And look, he's already here. I ain't doing it again.
Tell me about that. You took Trey when he was how old?
He was like 12 or 13. And Drew Benton took him one day sight fishing on Lake Seminole, and I took him the next day sight fishing on my home lake, and had no idea that it was going to be 5 short years or whatever before he made it here.
Yeah.
I would have toned it back a little bit more, you know?
I think he's an example of, he's the extreme example, but if you look, there's videos of him fishing with Andy Morgan and Dudley. Dan Moorhead, Dudley, like all sorts of he definitely went after what he wants to do but I think what you did with him is a prime example of what we see happening with a lot of young high school anglers. Because they're young. I'll help this kid out. If I say, hey, dude, I'm an MC. If Easton Fothergill comes up to you and says, hey, man, I would really like you to help me, you're like, wait a second, dude. You just won the classic.
Well, I
don't need to help you make my job harder.
Yeah.
But when it's a kid, you're just like, it's a kid, you know.
Yeah, right. And then they fish the opens, and then they make it. It's like, damn. You can't get those secrets back.
Is that a frustrating part of your job? It is. And it's not just technology. There is a massive influx of young kids, and they're all good with technology. But again, that's also the world that they grew up in. Does it frustrate you that it feels like traditionally, when you started chasing this dream, it feels like, how old are you now?
30.
So it feels like you're about 5 years away from what used to be, I'm hitting my prime.
Yeah.
And now it feels like that prime has changed.
Yeah. It definitely has. Just with all of that, I think, but the prime's going to change whenever your average age changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the average age probably went from, honestly, it was probably 50.
Yeah.
You know? And now we're down, I would say, closer to 40 now, our average age. But that's still because we got a whole bunch of the older guys left. You know, but sooner or later, the average age is going to be 30. You know, and the turnover rate's going to get pretty high too. So you got to keep evolving with everything. Try to find new baits, new tricks. Their bass are getting smarter. If you can tell whenever you have something they've never seen before,
how they react.
Because me and Patrick talk about it all the time. It's like when that happens, it happens to us once every 3 years. It's like, man, this is what Taku and Koya have every tournament. Whenever he took that shrimp thing to the St. Lawrence River. Dude, they ain't never seen that. Every smallmouth bass that saw it ate it.
Yeah.
40% of the smallmouth bass that I saw ate it. That saw mine ate it. And it's like, man, this is...
Do you spend time looking for stuff like 100%. That now? When's that done? Off season, or is that all?
All the time. All the time, because you never know. And there's so much about bass that we think we know, but we really have no idea about. I think... Personally, I think they're colorblind. I think they see clear, gray and gray, just different shades of nothing. That's why I'm not a huge color guy. I've got 4 colors of everything: black, It's just dark and light, really.
So what are your 4?
So I have a June bug, black and blue, whatever. I have a green pumpkin. I have one that's half green pumpkin, half black and blue.
Yeah.
And then a white. And that's every color I have, minus pink worms. But I think a pink worm is, whenever it's down there, is clear.
Yeah.
I think all they see is the outline of it.
Everything's very even. I mean, I shoot a lot of underwater stuff, but even when I'm down there, and we clearly are not colorblind, I'm not colorblind, but everything's muted anyways. It does. So, yeah, you probably have a point. Do you think flex and stuff like that matter, or do you think that's...
Yeah, I think that matters because, if you got a little bitty flake in it, it kind of is really subtle, but you have a big square one in there, that's a void out of that thing.
Fred flake,
and I think sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's bad.
Yeah.
I think most of the time the smaller flake's probably better, just because you have it, but it's not gaudy. But I think a lot of colors and stuff like that are for fishermen, not actually for fish.
Yeah.
But there's something that happens with bass, like red, things like that we don't understand. And it's not because the crawfish are turning red. No, that has nothing to do with it. That's not the reason they bit Lee Livesey's pink chatterbait. It had nothing to do with crawfish. It's not why they bite a straight chartreuse with a chartreuse trailer chatterbait. Those are all the same, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Same with a methylate floating worm, a yellow floating worm, a bubblegum floating worm, and a white floating worm. Those are all the same. They're all gaudy colors. They pop. Like a methylate worm, especially on places like this, man, a 6-inch methylate worm looks that big in the water because it's got a glow around
an orb.
And it's just one of those things that they either hate it or love it.
Yeah.
And it's one or the other. They either come there to eat it or they're getting the hell away from it.
So you're a big believer in, if you're, the stuff you said about Kyoya and Takumi having different stuff, you're a big believer in when something comes, you get it.
Got to.
Yeah.
I think shapes mean more than anything.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see, we get everything it used to be probably 7 years after Japan. It's now probably 3 years. And, maybe even encroaching a little bit on the 2-year mark. But I think we're fixing to see a big change in our worm shapes here.
Just to try and keep up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to... all the dice baits and stuff like that. What's your theory on that?
I think that whenever a bass is a fry, it eats a lot of that little stuff. And they don't know how big they are anymore.
Yeah.
It's just been a minute since they've seen one of those little things.
Yeah.
Today's high-tech fishing world can be a real pain in the neck, especially if you're running the wrong mounts. Beat Down Outdoors, they bring the graph to you. And they support this podcast and care enough about you to make this a short ad read. Check out Beat Down Outdoors. Now back to the show.
I have a weird theory about it too, where I look at a lot of them and I'm I know they seem super weird. But if you look at a jig, like a living rubber jig under the water, when it hits and it sits there and does that, they're just a jig that's falling slow and is doing that the whole, I don't think they're as weird as you initially think if you really look at them under the water.
Have you ever seen a crawfish, hooked on a drop shot?
Yeah.
Looks a lot, especially whenever he starts clucking.
Yeah.
Looks a lot like something around those parts, but who'd have thought sea urchins and dice would be bass catchers?
Why does a new bait, why do they eat that more?
Because they hadn't seen it. A lot of these bass see a lot of stuff a lot because there's a lot of people fishing there. More people, I guess, have remote jobs or there's more people fishing, period, but
and more educated.
Correct. It's not just
years ago, it was 80% of the people there, you're like, they don't really know.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, you had the people that like, I'm going to go to these 3 points this afternoon after work, because I have time, and I'm going to throw the same Carolina rig, on these 3 points. Now it's like, man, this guy, knows what he's doing, and he's fishing more, and that's happening to a lot. So I think the fish are definitely getting more pressured. So when you have something new like that, and it's been the same way for years, but it's just you don't get to catch them as long on it anymore.
Well, I always say one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was, and this shows how old I am, but I remember when the original power bait came out. And at that time we were throwing like culprit worms and stuff that isn't even around, like gill rakers and things that aren't even a bait today. But I remember thinking, I remember being as arrogant, and I was like a young tournament angler, and I remember being like, I catch plenty on culprit. I'm just fine. And then it was literally 2 years later, I was in a boat with a guy, and he said, he was hammering him on a power, just the original 7-inch, power worm. And I tried one, and I'm like, oh my God, these fish never drop it. They just, and you've seen its effectiveness, and then gulp comes along and it's super effective. And you see that in different lines, but it's, that early, they eat some, I don't think they learn. I just think I don't think they know that's a power, but they just know this is different, and I need to.
I think scent has a lot to do with, I love scent. I have scent on everything.
Yeah.
Whether it comes from the factory that way or I add it. Because it don't hurt.
No, that's always
it cannot hurt,
Do you like a sight fishing scent a big player, or is it just a can't hurt?
I don't think as much sight fishing like that, because you're really just making them mad. It's not like they're eating it because they're hungry. But I think the scent possibly makes them hold on to it longer.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I got my whole big bag of stuff. It's all got taku powder and bait fuel, all that. There's a concoction of stuff in it, just because I don't know which one works better than the other one, so they get it all.
Do you think? Where do you think the sport is in 5 years?
I think we have some type of limitation happen before then on the technology, whether it be government wise or something, or organization wise. But I think you'll see. I still think you'll see the trend of younger anglers getting better, quicker, faster, because there's so much information out there now. You can not know a thing about herring spawn. Like, there was probably 15 years ago, where there was probably 6 locals on this lake that knew what a herring spawn was, and they ran house during the springtime. Now you can get on YouTube, Google herring spawn, and 30 minutes, whatever, you get a pretty good idea on how to do all this stuff. So that in itself is helping a lot, because you can do that for everything. And just the amount of live and stuff on the amount of lakes. Like, you never go to a lake or a place without a little bit of help, except for like the Pasqua tank.
Yeah.
That was completely new. It was fun. I like that.
I like those. As a fan, it's fun to see the new places. And I couldn't agree with your theory on, I think that's the thing that nobody talks about. And I use my example of, like, when I first started working for the elites, there's no shad spawn where I'm from. I had no idea what a shad spawn was. And it literally took me a few years to learn what a shad spawn was. Like, people are talking about, I remember asking Tripp, what's a shad spawn? Yeah. And Tripp told me his stuff, but it took me several years. You can spend 1 hour and what it looks like, how to identify it, what to do when you're there. You could give a seminar on it. And that's the same with, when people start first going to the Thousand Islands. Well, now, not only can you get areas that you've seen from tournaments, but you can see exactly the way the guy's moving the bait, how they're rigging the bait. An FG knot 15 years ago would have took 30 years to spread through. Now there's how many videos of guys, like you can take your bait and you do it. Everybody does it where they've got the video on let me figure out how to do this on their boat. And it is wild. I also wonder with the youth thing, if there's part of me that wonders if that's also like part of the sport growing. Like if you look at other things, like for years in almost every sport, the athletes played a lot later. And then there was more and more people playing. So it pushed the age down because it's a competitive sport. Yeah. Do you think there's any truth to that? Or?
Yeah, that's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. And like, on my side of the bench, like you got to steadily adapting because it don't take but 3 years and you're gone. You know what I mean? Because I don't have a AOI, I don't have a classic yet. Like I want to get one of those get out of jail free cards. It'd be nice to have in your pocket. But like
I've never heard it referred to it, but that's a great way to look at it.
That's the reality of it. The turnover rate's going to get a lot higher. And just, that's how it's going to be. And it's how it has been, for forever. It's slowly gotten quicker and quicker, but like we made a big jump. Yeah. Like a big jump. And it partly because like the new EQs, like nobody got lucky 3 tournaments and made it on the elite team more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they caught them.
There's
good.
No weak. Correct. We had people that were great people, but they would show up and statistically, they weren't ready to be on the Elite Series. Ain't nobody showing up like that anymore.
No. And that has something to do with like the high school fishing, the college fishing, all that stuff. Like back then, you didn't fish multi-day tournaments until you fished the Opens. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you made the Elites. You'd been fishing Tuesday nighters and Saturday jackpots at home. And so like you didn't know anything about it. Now these kids are fishing three-day tournaments from high school, college, the Opens, like they're ready to go. Yeah. It's just a step.
And they've gone to every different geographic area. They've got used to travel. Like I remember when people would first get on the Elite Series, they'd be like, man, I'm not used to driving across the country. Yeah. Where you're from, to say you're going to New York, there's a lot of people you went to high school with that have never just gotten a car by themselves and said, I'm driving to New York. Yeah. And dealt with flat tires and dealt with, the crap that you're dealing with. It's definitely changing things. You said one of your great assets as a sight angler is your vision. Does that concern you?
A little bit. We've been talking about it all the time. I said, but hopefully by the time my eyes are really bad, they'll have like surgery that they're already polarized and like just make it so much better. But it makes you like more concerned about, things when you're not fishing. Like, dang, I probably shouldn't try to light that thing on fire, or you know what I'm saying? I may throw a match from a long way away, instead of it blowing up in my face, and that stuff you got to worry about all the time, like your hands stuff. Like I break one hand, like
there's no,
and I don't pay workers' comp, like but you can't fish one-handed. You can, but I can't learn how to do that quick enough for it not to cost me.
And I also think weirdly in fishing, and nobody talks about this, I think that because you compete for as long as you do, that's why physical, and not just physical, even mental issues, like if guys are going through stuff at home, whether it be financial, relationship, family, it's why I think it affects them so much more in fishing because, dude, if you're playing baseball, you got to focus for so many less hours. Yeah. And not that it's simpler, but to watch what you did yesterday and tried to do with that fish, the amount of focus, like you couldn't look like, I mean, I'm watching you do it and I'm like, dude's going to have a headache just from focusing. Like, and I think that's why when you have a sore shoulder, you can block it out to swing and hit a home run.
100%.
But it's sure hard to freaking block it out for 2 hours when you're trying to convince a creature to eat.
Yeah. And the mental side of it that you mentioned, like, that is so huge.
Yeah.
Like football, basketball, all that stuff, like 90 minutes. You gotta, put all that stuff beside you, and you can put most things to the side for 90 minutes. You can't do it for 4 days. Like at some point in time, that gorilla is going to get on your back. It's going to get in your head, and you're going to think about it. So being mentally tough, I think, is good. And honestly, this week I felt like I did a really good job at it. I stayed in it. Because, I mean, that yesterday, obviously it happened, but like that wasn't the only time this week that it was like very mentally straining.
Yeah.
I fished for one, I think the second day for almost 3 hours.
Yeah. The one you kept going back to.
Mm-hmm. And finally got it. So, like, being mentally tough is probably 10 times better than being a good caster.
Really?
Like, and being able to make decisions and live with them, or, and trust your gut, like that's huge.
And you guys have to do it yourself.
No
Unlike like when you said with a team, you're playing football. You got the rest of your teammates that are like, man, when you drop a pass, they're like, man, you got this. You need to have this because we need you to have this. Yeah. So there's that whole, you're keeping up. You have no teammates. I mean, you and Benton obviously work well together, but he isn't on the water with you. I mean, you get to see them at night and whatever. You have no coaches or somebody like even in golf, which is an individual sport. There's a human that walks down the fairway with you and gives you advice the entire way. And some of that advice isn't, hey, you're shoot this club this distance, and you shoot. Some of that advice is, all right, breathe.
Yeah,
we've been here before.
Simmer down. It's okay.
Reset.
Yeah.
You don't have any, and I think that's why the mental toughness is.
The worst part about it is there's a guy in the back of your boat that knows exactly what you need to do to win, but you don't have a clue, and he can't tell you. He's just back there with the camera, and like there.
What do you mean? Like he knows exactly what you need to win? Yeah, not what you need to do, but what you need.
How many pounds you need?
He could have tapped you on the shoulder and say, "Leave this 7."
Hey, dude, all you need is 13 pounds. Like, go back and catch those ones you passed by earlier. Like, you idiot, go back there. No, you don't know. He does. He
it's his job not to tell you.
And like, that's probably the most frustrating thing.
So you think about that, like you're like this.
No, never really.
Or it's afterwards.
It's afterwards. It was like, dang, I don't just know, And I'm like, I'm sure the whole time we're going by these fish on the bed, and I'm like making a cast at it, and it's like, well, it's not gonna bite like right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, dude, just catch it.
When I used to do on the water coverage with Overstreet, and I was on the water a lot of times, it's amazing the amount of times you would, like, dudes fishing the shoreline. He's like, I don't know where they went. And we're like, here.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything, like it's, which that's the stupidity about life. Like, if I was out there trying to catch them, I'd be in the same situation. But when you're there and you're not trying to catch them, I mean, the drone's a prime example. I mean, if you could have sent that around to look for fish, how
so awesome.
I mean, you think you're pretty decent. I think you're pretty decent at bed fishing. You would be 100 times better with a drone.
I would invest so much money in like the nicest one that you could get, the quietest one. Like it had 4 Dyson fans on it. The blades don't even turn. They're like, and you could just hover it around. It would be very convenient.
Well, dude, I think what you're doing is pretty good. And I know that yesterday hurts. And, but you get yours. I mean, your freaking career is pretty strong, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it hasn't been bad. I don't even remember how many, I didn't know how many top 10s I had made until you said it yesterday. And I was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you've contended for Angler of the Year a bunch. You think of the amount of people that have been around for a long time. And I mean, you look at Swindle, and this is no slight on him, but dude, he's fished 20 classics. He's been around for a long time. He's never won an elite.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done that. You've been so close. What is your ultimate goal in your career? Like, is it accomplishment based, or is it just longevity of career? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want to win all three.
Yeah.
An elite, AOI, and a classic. I really want an AOI for me personally, but career-wise, the classic would mean a lot more.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the 3-day-long event means so much more than the whole year-long event.
That way in other sports, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the team that wins the season, I mean, the Patriots one year went undefeated throughout the entire season, but they lost the Super Bowl, and the Giants won, and the Giants were the dudes who got the parties.
Yeah. But also being able to do it for a long time, because I don't have a choice now. Like, I can't go back to swinging a hammer or nothing like that. Like, once you've done this, there's like, you want to make sure that you stay here.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you go back to swinging a hammer, you think you're motivated now?
Yeah.
If you went back to doing that.
But it's so hard to get
real
here.
Work.
Like, I don't want to go do that again.
No. When did you start chasing this dream? Like, how old were you when the first time you said, man, I got to do this?
Oh, it was a long time ago. Whenever Ken Cook won the Classic.
Wow.
Like 91, or not 91, 2001 or something like that.
Yeah,
Third or fourth grade.
Third or fourth grade. Dang. So was Ken Cook your guy growing up? Like,
not really.
Who was the guy you looked up to?
I mean, I was once I finally got old enough, like, Hackney was my guy. Like, I liked Hackney. I liked Hackney whenever he had the chipped teeth. It was just Hackney, and he was not as polished on camera, like, got way more wound up catching fish. He was my guy. I liked him. I liked the way he fished. Just liked everything around him, because he always had a big rod. Always caught him his way. And, like, he knew whenever it was teed up for him, like, he took care of it. He showed up and he closed. And that was what I liked. Obviously, we all liked Kevin, and that wasn't really my.
He's not you.
No, it's not
Hackney's
my forte.
much more like
100%.
you than Kevin.
But, we all looked up to Kevin because he was just so dominant.
Yeah.
He was, unbelievable with his wins and all that, but that wasn't my guy. Like Denny Brower, Greg Hackney, those were my guys.
Some good guys. Did you get a chance to talk to Paul Marks afterwards?
I did. I talked to him a little bit. And he actually told me, he said it's kind of funny, the first time he ever touched one of those blue trophies was my blue trophy at Open, right after I won it at Santee. And who even knew who Paul Marks was way back? That was one of the first times I ever met him was that night. And we battled it out to the end. But he's won a lot of money on here. And I knew he was going to be, I knew him and Emil and Tucker were going to be a problem from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because they got a lot of tricks up their sleeve, too, with a whole different world.
Yeah.
That I don't have.
I think the way he fishes, and I know that I mentioned it to him, and I said, I don't ever want to compare I would never compare anyone to Kevin Van Dam, because that's just horrible. And I'm not saying that he is that. But what some of those guys are doing mathematically is literally what Kevin did to change the sport. Like Kevin came and got faster and put his bait in front of more fish. they're doing it with technology, but it's the exact same thing. Yeah. It is mathematical. All of a sudden, I mean, I watched Wesley Gore do it, and he's fishing fry garters around docks, and he's fishing, if you mathematically add it up, he is fishing 3 days worth of docks if you fished them the traditional way in one day. And that only makes sense that you're, you know, mathematically
docks that have bass on them.
Yeah. It's, it is wild. So half and half would keep you happy? Half and half?
I don't care. I mean, dude, I made a
not that you're unhappy, but you know what I mean? Like, you think that, I mean, would Angler of the Year, to me as a fan, I want to see the dude hold the trophy who is the best at everything. I
think that would 100% show you that guy. But like I made a bunch of money with that thing. Like, I've caught a pile of bass with it. And I feel like I can hold my own pretty good with most of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want it to go away because I can't do it. I can do it. You can't win for losing these days. Like that, I feel like that's the only win-win we've got. It'll keep the armchair quarterbacks at bay. It'll keep everybody wins.
And I think it's fine what the MPFL's doing. I think that's the right thing for their league. But I think
it was the best move they had at that time to make.
I mean, they had the simplest decision out 100%. Of any league. I mean, and it has worked out great for them. But I also think it's hard to, like, as much as people hate it, it's also hard to turn off technology in a sport that's been driven by technology. Yeah. Dude, like, and it's not always something, but braided line.
Oh, yeah.
Gave people access to fish they never could catch before.
Dude, map cards.
Yeah. Like that to me is the biggest thing that never gets talked about.
It changed everything. Like, and especially when you hear Rick Clunn talking about, like, way back when, fishing a TVA tournament, you literally went and you threw a crankbait till you had a bite.
Yeah.
And you threw a buoy out. And then you went that way until you quit getting bites and threw a buoy out. And then you finally got a spot. Yeah. You know? And that's why, like, it was so dominant when they found a spot. Like, they creamed them, dude, because nobody else had it.
Yeah.
You know, it was all by themselves. And those bass, unless they came up schooling, you never had a clue they were there.
Yeah. Flip it. The invention of flip it. Like, I mean, it was the same. And again, it's not technology, but you talk to people that were around then, and they're like, there was plenty of people. Like, there's a reason there's length limits on your rods, and also because people were like, they're accessing fish that you couldn't access before. Like, it's the same kind of stuff that you hear, but
I didn't think about that. I thought we always had a limit on them because of the camera guys. Because, like, if I had a 10-foot rod, he'd be SOL.
I never thought about that, but no, it was literally because guys started using these giant long rods to access fish way back in Kane and stuff. It's every rule has you know what I mean? It's the same reason why you can't build platforms. I mean, how much more effective would you be?
Dude, if I was 6'3" or 4, like, it'd be so awesome.
I have a workaround. Yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting for an angler to have the balls to do it. And I've said, you can't build a platform, but nobody can tell you what shoes you can wear.
Yeah. I ended up breaking my
If you
ankle.
roll up in a pair of Kiss disco booties, I mean, there will be a rule the next year.
Yeah, but
you will get away with it for 1 year. No, you're a master. What you do is awesome to watch. What did you say to Paul when you gave him a hug on the stage? Was it just a quick congrats, or like, did you know you knew at that point? Yeah, I know. Like, when did you know? Like, when you said you didn't look at Bass Track when you came in, right?
No, but I knew whenever 3 o'clock happened that it was over. You know, and it is what it is. You know, it was not my time to win. But I still don't understand how, because the first 3 days went so flawless.
Yeah.
I caught everything I hooked, or if I lost it, I still caught it. You know, like, afterwards. Then the final day, I lost, three females and had that big one not eat. It just, you could feel it some point in time during the morning, like say like 10 o'clock. But I was like, it happens sometimes. I lost one the final day at Santee, and then ended up, it helped me find an 8-pounder, and and honestly, I kind of thought it was going to go the same way. I was like, well, here it is, last hour of the tournament. I'm going to catch a big one, and it's going to all work out. And that's why, I kept my cool, never freaked out. But I know losing those fish, I broke one off. Hadn't broke one off in a long time. And it was one of the ones like just swimming down the bank, 4-pounder, throw over there, and it ate it like it never seen nothing. Pow. Like, wow. Finally get one to eat it, because I threw it a bunch of them that didn't eat it, and finally get one to eat and break it up. Like, I guess Ronnie Moore got what he wanted.
Yeah. No comment. But I don't think that also shows your mental toughness in the fact that like things were not going your way, but you're still like, it's gonna happen. Yeah. And that's also that's the hero story. Like, dude, what you tried to do is one of the most ballsy. Like when I saw you take that male out of there and release it, I'm like, gosh, we are about to watch a historic chapter. How many times did that big freak like
enough? Like there was a 20-minute span. I bet she either rolled on it or nosed up to it probably 10 times. And I was like, here it is. This is going to be the one, that she's actually going to eat it. And she doesn't. And I don't know. I did that. I threw one back, actually 2 separate times at Santee whenever I won. But also it's bit me. I threw a 4-pounder back at Murray. First bass I caught.
Gosh.
There was a 4-pound male. There was a 7-pound female, and I couldn't get her to go. Threw him back, and they both left, and so I ended up with 0. And so you live by the sword, die by the sword. But that was the only way that I was going to catch her.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to get up there. I wasn't going to be able to leave, come back in 20 minutes, and throw up there and catch her on the first flip. I didn't feel. I guess it could have happened. We'll never know. But I think that was the only way I was going to catch her.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I know this day sucks, but it could suck a lot worse. You could have missed the cut totally and been like, you know what I mean? Like you knew you were on the fish. It just didn't. It didn't work out. And I always say that to all you guys. And I do believe it. Like, it's part of the story. And I don't know why the story is the way it is, but it is that way. Why did Jason Christie get as close as he got to the Classic repeatedly and then just get stomped? Like, things that were just, you thought, it's that. But that's also why Jason Christie's Classic win was as epic as it was, because it was like, dude, Kevin Van Dam at one time, and nobody even remembers this, at one time Kevin Van Dam was considered and said publicly as the greatest angler to never win the big one. Like Kevin freaking Van Dam. Like that's part of and to even say that, people are like, what?
And statistically, he won it 1 out of 7 times he showed up.
Yeah. But he missed but the first 11 he didn't win.
Yeah.
And that was the story. And that, now people don't even believe that was ever a time. And you got lots ahead of you.
I hope so. I got, me and the Classic, we got problems. Something always happens to me at the Classic. I don't know why, whatever.
Does it feel different? Like, obviously the Classic feels different for me as an MC. Like that morning is...
Yeah, it's all different. The practice, everything. You're practicing a week before, then you get one day, and there's so much hoopla and stuff in between. Nothing's normal like every other tournament. And I think, like, I don't know, I've brought in short fish. It cost me, a lot of money. 5 minutes late. where it was probably the best shot I've ever had at winning a classic. And then, like, you can't come back from that. The next morning, you know, at Grand, the first bite I had was a 5-pounder, and fighting it, and my line breaks, and it lays on the surface. I wrap it around my rod and go to pull it up, and it goes out into the abyss, and I'm like, you can't come back from this. Like, it's over.
Do you still see that line leaving in your like when you?
It just looks like a pigtail going. Yeah. Like,
you'll never forget that.
No, like how is this happening? Why is it happening to me? I don't understand. I think next year at the Classic, I'm either like not gonna pre-practice or not even gonna make a caster in practice, and just like I'm gonna rig some rods before we go there, and like that's just what I'm fishing with during the tournament. Like, just try something completely different.
Yeah. Cox has always said and this is also explains his thinking, but he's always said like 1 day pre-fish is perfect. And his whole theory, when you think about it, is think of how many times, maybe you can pick a lake, any lake. You can go fishing today. And there's times where you go to a lake and you get your teeth kicked in. But that night you go home, you have dinner, you sit around, you think, pissed at those fish. At least that's how, when I'm shooting shows, that's how I feel. The next day, you almost always catch them. Yeah. You either get that clue on day one, or you almost. And he's like, it's more natural. Like in Cox, I think that's another reason he stays as busy as he does. So he doesn't find himself putting too much because he's not. And the Classic is that tenfold because of the difference in. Like, it's almost worst case scenario to get on him in pre-fish.
100%. I'd rather not catch crap. You know, and every year, like it's. Oh, this one's going to be perfect. The weather's going to be all right. You know, they're going to swim to the bank. Good shot to win the Classic. And then it's cold, wind's blowing, like water temperature's steadily dropping. They don't do it. So
there'd be a cool article. I need to let Louis Stout or somebody know, because everybody has those stories, like why I didn't win the Classic. Like Brosnick reminded me this week, like of the Hartwell Classic, where he said he was on fish like he's never had before. He said, I've never, ever he said there was hundreds of fish and you needed to be there in the first hour and you'll blitz them. And he couldn't sleep the night before the first day of the Classic. He goes out there the first day of the Classic, the boats freeze to the trailer and takeoff is delayed an hour or 2 hours, whatever it was that morning. Because boats freaking literally froze to the trailer. Nobody's arguing whether it should, but yeah. He's on this bite. He weighs in like 8 pounds day one because he said it was the first hour. Day 2 and day 3, he gets to go out and gets the hour. He weighs 17 pounds and 20 pounds. And he said that I still feel to this day that was my Classic, but literally he was froze out.
That's crazy.
It's so wild. And I think that doesn't get enough credit. Like what you guys do and how you do it in a public world, like the things that can affect, you know, stand in your way, but it goes back to the mentally tough thing.
Oh, yeah, because we're not playing, or we're not all in the same field, not all on the same course. Well, like, everything's different, you know. There's not, Shooter McGavin, who'd he hire in Happy Gilmore, like on the golf course? You know what I'm saying?
Like, the big sizzler, you know, Shooter. You're a jackass.
Sometimes you have, you know, whether it be jet skis, locals, fishing, stuff like that changes, you know, your fishing area, but not somebody else's, you know. It is. It's a weird deal. It's a good job. I love it.
It's cool. It's cool. Well, let's end this how I end things with your kid every time. Paul Marks, you are a freaking Bassmaster Elite Series champion.
I know. I don't even realize it's really happened yet. It's crazy. It doesn't feel real.
You said that on stage. When do you think it will feel real?
I don't know.
You're not supposed to say I don't know in this interview. Your rookie interview, you gave me 1,400 I don't knows.
I know, but it's crazy to have this thing. Didn't expect it coming into the tournament. There's fish all over the bank and was kind of down the spots. I was catching some small ones and had a few places I got some big bites and just never expected this at all.
How can you say you didn't expect it? I mean, you were a pre-tournament favorite.
I know, just time of year and I don't know. Time of year with all the fish on the bank, and the herring spawn really wasn't going on that much just because all the fish were still spawning. Spots weren't that fat. Most of them were post-spawn. So to be able to catch fat enough spots and enough of them was really fortunate. I don't know how I caught enough of them to make it happen because they were getting out there skinny, and I don't know. It's unbelievable.
Going into this season, would this have been the one you circled as that's my best shot?
No, probably not. If it would have been 3 weeks later, maybe I would have, just because they'd be off. Every one of them be offshore and be top water and schooling fish, more schooling fish. I mean, obviously they were schooling some, but I think it would be a little bit better opportunity for me. But it worked out this week. So,
so why did it work out?
I mean, it just did. It just did. I ran around, did what I love to do. I mean, I pretty much trained my whole life for it, fishing Lanier. I mean, I haven't fished Hartwell a ton, but a good enough amount to kind of know the best areas of the lake with the biggest spots. So it worked out. Can't believe it.
What has the reaction been like? How many texts?
I don't know. I got like almost 800 texts I got to respond to. So thanks to everyone for texting me, but I'll get back to you eventually.
Winning the Elite Series run, I always think it's just such a weird experience to go through because, I mean, you wonder, you think, you're focused on fishing the whole time, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're in front of a big crowd. You've got your family there. People are holding up signs. You get rushed around to do a bunch of different media stuff. When was the first moment you got to actually absorb it with your family? Was it at the boat ramp or was it not till you got home?
It was at the boat ramp after I did all the media stuff and everyone came down to my boat and we were all hanging out. It was really special. I mean, I barely remember even fishing the last 4 days. I was running around so fast, and for it come down to this and me have the trophy, it's crazy. I don't remember running around. I remember like 3 fish catches all week that
really
I caught. Yeah,
and I assume you're not that guy normally, because most anglers remember every single fish.
When I was out there on the water yesterday, I was remembering everything, but now I don't remember anything. It's
a blur.
It's a blur. It happened like that. It feels like it was weeks ago.
Who was the coolest person to hand the trophy to, or to?
Probably my dad, just because super special. I mean, he's taught me a lot about spotted bass fishing and spent my whole life doing it.
You guys grew up, he's a pretty accomplished angler in his own right. Mm-hmm. When do you think he started thinking that this was a reality for you, or something that, hey, my kid might fish for this one day?
I don't know. I didn't fish in college and fished high school and stuff, but I really wasn't that into it. And then, I don't know. I got a new Phoenix in like 2019 or something and fished some BFLs, and then I don't know, just it's all happened. I never really planned too much to do it. I've always loved it, loved fishing and the sport and all that, but it's all just happened like that. And it's crazy to think back on.
When you think back on like your childhood, what is like the most earliest kind of fishing memory you have with your dad?
He used to like check me out of school this time of year and stuff when we had cloudy, rainy days to go out on Lanier and fish. So, I don't know. He's taken me so many times, river fishing, ocean fishing. I've always just been wanting to catch big fish. Wherever I'm at, I just want to catch the biggest fish that are in there, whether it's carp or whatever. So
you're an angler. Like, there's people that only fish for bass, but you're that guy who, as long as it's pulling, it's good.
Oh, yeah, no, I love any kind of fishing. Crappie fishing is one of my favorites, too. I like jet boat, river fishing, running current. So if I didn't tournament fish and do this, I would just have the biggest, baddest jet boat.
What do you like about that?
Just the fish are big, and it's cool running around rivers and going over shoals and stuff like that. It's cool. And they're like biting year round, like in August, they're still biting. So
Avco not only makes incredible outdoor clothing, but they care about anglers with their 10% pledge. Avco and the Shed family donate at least 10% of the company's profits to conservation and making fishing better. Now back to the show.
What was your biggest question personally coming into the Elite Series this season? I mean, I think everybody shows up and has questions. I mean, unless you're the very few that is like, I was meant for this. I mean, I think everybody questions.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I don't know. I had so many questions. I'm still wondering about some stuff, that just how everything works. And I mean, going to these different fisheries and trying not to wreck my boat, and navigate places. So, I mean, I don't know. All I think about is fishing. It's kind of wild. Where we're going, and I don't know.
When we did our pre-interview, our rookie interview, that's kind of what I took from it. Like, this is all, like, who are you if tomorrow fishing is gone? There's no such thing as competitive bass fishing. Who the hell is Paul Marks?
I don't know. I just like to have fun, hang out with my friends, and have fun. Try to do it every day.
So what do you do for fun?
I mean, if you take fishing away, I don't know what I'd do. No clue. I would hunt more. I used to hunt a lot, but nowadays don't hunt near as often, just because I like fishing.
Yeah.
In the fall, when it gets cold, the fishing is my favorite. But
all your friends fish?
Pretty much every one of them.
You don't get along with people that don't fish?
I do, but just, I don't know. It's just my life.
Yeah. Did hoisting this trophy, I mean, it hasn't even been 24 hours, so maybe this is a tough question to ask, but did hoisting this trophy answer any of the questions you had coming into the season about your abilities, your right to be here?
Yes. I mean, I knew that I was maybe capable of it, but I mean, fishing against those 100 guys, they're the best in the world, and I don't know. To get this thing it's crazy. When
did you think you had won? Like, did you have a moment?
Well, when I came in and my camera guy, because no one was following me, but I was running around like crazy.
Nuts.
Like just pulling up, making one cast somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was going to the next. And then no one was following me at the end of the day, and no drone, no nothing. And I was like, man, someone's catching them. I just thought I'm going to get like 4th place or something. And then came in and my camera guy like grabbed me. He's like, oh, don't ever let the highs and lows get you down. And then he hopped out of my boat, and I refreshed Bass Track right after I checked in. I was like, holy smokes, like, it's going to be really close, me and Tucker in second. And then got up there and went down to where we swapped to the Toyotas, and Luke Palmer was sitting there. I was like, oh, how'd you do today? He's like, oh, I got 16 or 17. I started doing the math in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, he might, because he only had 13 on Bass Track.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be really close, doing the math in my head and stuff, and then wound up, I had enough, but that was the most stressed out I've ever been in my life.
But that's also I always say that's the good thing.
Oh,
like,
it was
that
fun.
stress. Like, I wish
so
you guys couldn't, like, I've always said, like, I wish you guys couldn't even look at Bass Track on Sunday. Because
me too.
You had no idea, but even that, it was, in your situation, it didn't matter, because it was close enough that,
it was so close.
Tucker could have won.
Yeah.
Cook obviously was your biggest competition going into that final day. And I thought what happened between you and Cook was really cool. You haven't had a chance to absorb it, but commentating on it and watching it was really cool, because it was like, it was a battle between, and it was the two different, there was 2 predominant patterns in this tournament, the sight fishing pattern and the herring stuff. Like I said right before you won, it's either the sight master or the herring master. And you guys were going head to head. I mean, I know you did sight fishing in the afternoon, but it was a really, I think it was cool for the industry. It was just one of those moments that was very cool.
It was cool
to witness.
Definitely battle between shallow and offshore fishing. And somehow I never expected it to pan out like it did.
You pride yourself on being an offshore guy?
Yeah, I mean, people can say I just catch them because of live scope, but I don't know.
Does that bother you when you hear
I don't
that?
care. because it's people that don't know anything about it anyways, because everyone has it on their boat. So
yeah,
whatever.
Watching you fish, you said how fast you were fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, how many spots do you think you hit in a day?
Really not as many as, like, if it was in a couple weeks from now and they're really in brush and offshore, I mean, I would hit at least 70 in a day, but I was hitting 30 spots probably. I was rotating 4 or 5 different ones because just waiting to pull up, maybe be schooling or be set up a little different. But I was hitting a lot. And some places I was just like exploring the whole area around there because it's just a big area, around a hump or a saddle that where the herring spawn and they move back off. So I was just going around kind of hunting them down and finding them.
Do you take mathematics into, like, when I watched you, I'm like, I mean, I think it's the story of that technology, whether you're using it the way you were or Wesley Gore, was fishing fry garters on docks. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, he is, if you mathematically look at what he's doing to traditionally fish that dock, how everybody's fished them for generations, let's say conservatively, it's a 4-minute fish to like hit all the pilings and feel like, you fished it. He's blowing through docks and he's just like, it's eliminated all of the downtime. So he, statistically on live, we talked about it and it was like, man, if you look what he's doing, he's hitting 3 days worth of docks in one day. Do you look at the herring deal like that? Because
for sure.
You assess it so quick. It's like the freaking Terminator. And you move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps just eliminate bad water and figure out what they're biting that day, like how they're set up, what the clouds are doing, what the sun's doing, wind. I mean, it just helps you figure something out for that specific day. Like the third day, it got sunny. It was first sun we'd really had, and they'll come up, hit a chrome top water whenever they first get out there, even if it's pretty calm. And went fish some brush piles. Actually, my dad and Mark Harden sank back in, I think it's 2018 or 2019, something. Me and Mark fished a team series, and my dad and him came up here and sank brush for it. And we didn't catch them out of it then, but it really paid off because I caught 2 big fish out of them. So. But just knowing that, I mean, like this time of year in Lanier, I go out there and have piles everywhere. So they were just on certain little kind of back points and secondary points, kind of hidden a little bit. And I just go through a top water, catch giant post-spawn fish.
Watching you in live, you would put your trolling motor down, make 1 cast, 2 casts, and be gone. Is that just looking for fish, or what? How are you making such a quick decision?
I mean, all the fish are so smart on these herring lakes, especially Hartwell. There's so many tournaments here, and I mean, you make 1 cast, they follow your bait all the way to the trolling motor, and then there's no reason to keep fishing there because they aren't going to bite. If they don't hit it right when it comes over them the first time, they usually won't bite.
You kind of called this from day one, not your victory, but when I talked to you the first day of the tournament. We did a morning interview and you're like, I feel confident I can catch 15 pounds of spotted bass, and then it's all going to come down to a sight bite in the afternoon. So rare to go into an event, whether you had won this or not, you called exactly how this event was going to be won. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. I mean, after the second day, on the third day, I was really struggling and my fish had just kind of moved, and I don't know. I think it was because the sun, they just kind of moved out, and they might have been like on the bottom where I couldn't see them, and they were not biting as good. And I was like, man, they're leaving. I got to figure something else out. And then I went through the top water and caught some. But then the final day, it was cloudy in the morning. I ended up catching some bigger spots again.
This is weird, and I'm not comparing you to this guy because I wouldn't compare anybody to him. But watching what's happened with this technology and I feel like we've seen different levels of this technology. And now we're confronted with, Matt Pangerat calls them super scopers, or somebody who, like, you guys have eliminated all of the fluff. It is like, we're here to catch fish. But weirdly, it struck me, And it made me think of Van Damme, like how Van Damme changed the sport in the way that he just sped up. He just put his bait in front of more fish. Like if you look at what the sport was pre-Kevin Van Damme, people fished a lot slower. Kevin Van Damme comes along and there was fast anglers, and those fast anglers looked at him and were like, dude, what you're doing is a whole other level. This is involving technology, but is it the same thing happening again?
I think so. I think there was more fish back then. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. I'm not old enough to really have fish back then, but from what it seems like, there was way more fish back then, and you could side scan and really find them. Like now on a ledge,
there was no side scan even when he started.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't
imagine there was a time in the world where there was no side scan.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But he just understood the offshore game better than everyone. I mean, fishing out there where they live. I mean, a lot of them live shallow year round, but most places, like this place, majority of them live deep. So there's so many different variables. It's hard to, I don't even know how to answer that question, but so many variables to fishing and how much it's changed over the years. I think the fish are so smart nowadays.
I think it's the same again. It just comes down to mathematics, though. Like he just burned his bait in front of more fish, and whether it was shallow or deep, I mean, his weapon was speed. But that's exactly what I see from you guys. Like it feels like it's just I'm going to hit more spots. I'm going to put it in front of more, and ultimately, just like the dock thing, you're fishing 3 days worth of docks in one day. You're hitting 3 days worth of herring spots in one day. Has that been a progression? Like you told me before, you got a forward-facing unit when you were like 17, so 6 years ago. Has it speeded up for you?
Yeah. I mean, just eliminate so much bad water and figure out how to get the bigger ones to bite it. You can tell size, sort of. So, I mean, I don't know. There's so many variables. It's hard to grasp and put into words.
Yeah. Where do you think that technology goes in the future?
There's no telling. There's probably crazy stuff they're working on right now. I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
You obviously have heard the negative about it. I mean, I don't think you can not hear the negative about it. Does that negative exist amongst anglers of your age? I mean, is there 21, 20-year-old, 22-year-old kids that you know that are just like, yeah, I don't want it?
There might be like one or two, but no, I mean, everyone likes it. It's just the way it is nowadays. I'm sure it'll probably get banned or something will happen. Something different's going to change. Just too much stuff going on, but I don't know why. Everyone has it on their boats, and if it was that easy to do, then it would be someone different. Like all these in the Southeast, there's like TVA and all that. There's like 10 people that win a lot of stuff, and it's not the live scope that's making them catch them. It's just the ability to do it and figure the fish out and make it happen.
If it went away, what would it do to your career?
I mean, I could still fish offshore, but going to these places, it would be hard to catch any. They're so smart everywhere we go. I mean, the fish are so educated, and it would be tough. But
you feel like you would adapt?
I would still be able to catch them.
Yeah. So that's what I've said from the start. I'm like, it's not an easy technology to use, clearly, because if it was, we've had conservatively the last 2 to 3 years, everybody who hasn't been strong with that technology has done nothing but work on that technology. And if it was easy, they would have figured it out by now. And my theory is, if you guys are willing to put the time in and get as good with that, well, you can put the time in and get as good with anything else. And you didn't start fishing when you were 17. That's just when you got
been fishing since I could walk.
When did you first think you would be a tournament angler? Was it before that?
Yeah, I mean, I fished tournaments with my dad and stuff since I was a little kid, and always went to his weigh-ins, and I'm glad I've been around it so much. So,
what does your dad think of that technology?
He likes it. He's still got some baits whenever we fish team tournaments. He likes to throw around the back of the boat and throw around. I'm like, just throw this. Come on. And he's like, no. He keeps throwing his top water, stuff like that. But he likes it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to erase that, though. Like that's where I think the biggest advantage you guys have. If your most recent successes over the last 6 years have been done, a lot of them with that.
Yeah.
No different than Jason Christie's successes have been done with a spinnerbait. So it's so hard to block out your strongest weapon. And that is clearly one of the strongest weapons that you guys have right now. Who do you think is the best with it? Like, who do you watch use it and be like, gosh?
Koya, he's pretty badass with it.
Why?
So, he's good with it. He was one of the first ones, to do the minnow stuff, kind of blew that up. And I think he has some crazy baits that no one knows about. So there's so many nowadays.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good ones with it.
Those crazy baits, do you think, weirdly to me, it feels like the entire industry is sight fishing right now. It's no different than what Drew Cook's doing. You are shaking a bait in front of a fish, whether it's in 30 feet of water or 3 feet of water, it is sight fishing. Whether you're seeing it with your glasses or you're seeing it with your graph. Is that symbolizing it too much, or is that the theory?
No, I used to joke about that back years ago. Like, oh, how'd you catch him? I was like, oh, sight fishing.
Yeah.
I guess back when no one really used the live scope like it's used nowadays. And like, oh, I was sight fishing. And they know I'm like way out there in the middle of the lake. But
is this something you plan to do your whole life?
I guess so now, but it wasn't a couple years ago. No, it wasn't my plan, but now I think it is, especially after this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What was your plan a few years ago? What did you think you would be doing when you were 23?
I never really had a plan. I don't know. I just kind of go with the flow and see what happens, and that's how it's been going.
You're a very mellow dude. Shocker, his phone's ringing. You're a very mellow person. Do you, and I'll be honest, you're not super comfortable with this kind of stuff.
No, I'm not good at this stuff. I got to get better at it, but I'm trying to. I think I'll get better as time goes on. Interviews, have they not gotten better?
Yeah, no, they've gotten better. And you're, dude, I don't think there's such a thing as not being good with it. There's not being comfortable with it.
Yeah,
which I think is also normal. Like, it is weird to sit and have a recorded conversation. I mean, any other time in life that this happens, you're in a deposition or getting interviewed by the law. It's not a normal thing. But I think I've always said, like, just be real, be who you are. Do you think of this job like that with, I got to get better at this and I have to work on that, and here's my strengths, my weaknesses?
I've got better at bed fishing this year. I used to never like it, never do it, but I practiced this year a lot, and it's worked out for me.
How many key bedfish did you end up getting in this tournament?
I caught 2 in this tournament.
That's
first
it?
Day. Yeah.
So you never ended up getting one yesterday because you did go shallow.
Yeah, I went looking. I found a couple fry garters. One was like 3.5, maybe 4 pounds, but I couldn't get it to bite. So I went and did it for probably an hour and a half, and I was like, I just got to stick to my roots and get back out here on the lake.
How much of that was a need to catch bigger fish, or a feeling that I've caught as much as I can catch out here?
I knew I had a chance to catch a 6-pounder on a top water over a brush pile. I knew that they were there. I mean, you can tell when largemouth are in a pile, they kind of take over a pile, and they look different, act a little different. I knew I could maybe get one to come up and bite. So I think that would be way cooler than stealing one off its eggs.
Yeah.
So,
Do you not like bed fishing?
I had no problem with it. I don't know. I'm sure some of the spots I caught were on the bed too. So
yeah. Who was your guy growing up? Did you watch pro fishing growing up? Did you have guys that you looked up to?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched it that much my whole life. I haven't watched a ton of it.
So why do you want to do this?
I love fishing. I love fish. I think they're so cool. I love water, being on the water, being around just cool places.
Has it always been that way?
Mm-hmm.
How young were you when you realized, man, like water's where I just want to be at a lake. I want to be at a river.
We had a lake house when I was a little kid, and it was only like a mile from my actual house where we live now. And I would get red wigglers and night crawlers every day. I caught thousands and thousands of bluegill. There's a picture of me when I was like this tall, walking around with a brim in my mouth, holding it in my mouth. But probably, then I always take my dad's bait casters. He'd get mad at me. I'd go out and throw them in the yard, and throw his lures around, beat them up.
I like to practice.
Yeah, just messing around, breaking stuff.
Which all seems normal to me. I mean, I did the same thing, practice casting at cans, and I think every angler did. It just seems weird to me that like you were never really like everybody like I grew up watching so and so, but so what drives you just to be the best at fishing?
Yeah, I think so. Just want to go wherever we have to go. I just want to find the biggest ones, find the best pattern.
Your entire house made the cut.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Loberg almost got in the top 10 too. We've been 4 of us. So
yeah.
It was crazy. Me and Tucker, I can't believe it came down to me and him first and second. It's unreal. We spent a lot of time fishing together and stuff the last couple years, and special.
Would you beat him by 12 ounces or something?
Not much. Yeah, not much. It was 12 or 14, something like that.
If he had beat you, how do you think you'd feel today?
I wouldn't be mad at all. I'd be so happy.
Really? So you were win-win.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Was Cook your biggest worry, or did you know by the time you got to the stage? I knew he probably
had some big bedfish he was saving.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, man, he's going to have like an 8-pounder or something today.
He had a 7-pounder that he worked forever.
I know.
What?
There's like my brother and everyone said they were watching. They said it was the most painful thing to watch. He's like, oh, she's nosing down on it. And I was like, oh. He said it was stressful.
Yeah, no, it was stressful, but it was awesome. Yeah. It was really awesome. Like you had 2 guys going head to head. One was shallow, one was deep. Yeah. Like to me, it was as if I work in this sport, but I'm a huge fan of this sport. I mean, if I didn't do my job, there's nowhere I'd be. I'm watching what happened on Sunday. Like that's what obsesses me too. And it was the battle of 2 totally different approaches, and it was really cool. I mean, and Cook did some wild things, and it turns out I think he needed to, with what you caught. I mean, I'd have to talk to him about it, but that's what you want. I mean, to me, that's the battle that you want. Winning this, does it satisfy you, or does it make you say, man, I want more of that?
It's pretty satisfying, but definitely want to win another one, or I don't know, just keep doing good.
The beginning of the season, I asked you what you wanted to accomplish. You told me making the Classic would be very cool. And that was kind of your goal. Is that still your goal?
For sure. I think I said that too, like maybe win one or something. I never expected it to win one my first year. It's unbelievable.
Has this changed anything? Like, does the goal, like you're in contention for Rookie of the Year after winning this, so you're like, man, I need to.
The Rookie of the Year would be cool just because you only get one shot at it. So it'd be awesome. And all the guys that are rookies, it's going to be hard to do. They're all so good. I know Easton got off to a bad start, but he's coming. He's coming.
Were you more shocked watching Easton win the Bassmaster Classic, or more shocked with his 2 train wrecks in Florida?
I was shocked with the train wrecks. Yeah. The Classic, not a surprise for one bit.
I said to a media person yesterday, he's won the Classic and made the last 2 championship Sundays, and I'm still more shocked by what happened in Florida. That's how solid he is. And why do you think he's as good as he is? Have you spent a lot of time with
I
him?
haven't, not a ton, no. I mean, we talk a little bit, like at weigh-ins and stuff, but I think he just really understands fish and how they act, where they go, why they're somewhere, and he can catch them. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you ask who the best scoper is, probably him.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
And it's not the live scope. I mean, yeah, he's using it, but he's really figuring out the fish. And
Yeah. Yeah. It's also like you see the work ethic that a lot of you guys have. I mean, you spend a ridiculous amount of time on the water.
I don't know how many days in a row I fished. I went to Lanier every single day before this, just practicing and preparing and getting really dialed in.
I just noticed for the first time you have ink on your hand.
Yeah.
What is that?
Me, Tucker, and Hayden got it. It's a secret what it means.
You can't tell me what it means?
No.
Let me see it. What does it say?
Secret. Me, Tucker, and Hayden Marbett, we all got them. So.
And it's a secret.
Yep, it's on our right hand where we hold our rod, so pretty sweet.
Damn. Will you ever tell anyone?
Nah.
Do you think they'll ever tell anyone?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Yep, pretty cool what it means.
I mean, now I want to know what it means. Now I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure out.
It says something, but I don't know. There's another word on there that's...
All right.
You can never figure it out.
Okay. That makes it cooler?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the only tattoo you have?
Yeah, I'll probably never get another one. I never expected to get a tattoo, but we talked about it, and we had so much success over the past couple of years, so we all decided to get one.
Whose idea was it?
I think Hayden, whenever he was leading the Toyota championship, he said he was going to get it across his chest. And then it just spiraled after that. We talked about it like 30 times, and then finally we just decided to do it.
But you were never a tattoo guy before that?
Never before, no.
What are you scared of in life?
I don't know. Not being able to go fishing a lot.
So you don't have any like phobias, like scared of heights?
I am kind of scared of heights. Like at the Classic, you know that the upstairs. Did you ever go up there?
But with like the lounge or whatever?
No, just like the upstairs where there was like part of the expo. But like,
no, I never was over there.
Like looking down stuff like that scares me. It's just a glass thing. I don't know. Freaks me out.
Heights.
I don't like snakes either.
I don't like snakes.
Tucker, he likes snakes. He'll just grab one. I think he tried to grab one in practice. It was swimming beside his boat, and he tried to reach down and get it.
He likes them.
Yeah, he loves them.
Wow.
We were in Lake Ontario one time, and there was a big one swimming out. We're like half a mile from land. He threw over there, hooked it, brought it in the boat, unhooked it. I took a picture of him with it, and then he let it go. It climbed up in my motor, so he had to grab it again and get it out of my motor and let it go. And then a big seagull swooped down and grabbed it, like the oceanic gulls, the big ones. We're like, oh my gosh, but he's not scared of them.
He's a weird little dude, isn't he? He seems so polished.
Yeah.
But he's not as polished.
Yeah, he's pretty, I don't know, he's pretty polished, I'd say.
He doesn't like that dog of his mother's.
He loves it.
He hated that I brought it up on stage.
He loves it. It sleeps with him every night.
How did that whole group get together, the four of you guys?
I guess after we qualified at Martin last year, we all went back to my house, and we just had like a big party. Tons of people came over, and I think we just decided that night we were gonna all travel together. Yep.
Has you guys worked together? You told me that.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to figure it out. Like the first two, we were working with each other, but we didn't. I don't know. We trust each other, but that was just the first couple ones. We'd all been together, and I think we were feeling each other out, all of us. So, but now I think we've got it dialed in. And
trust is probably the most important part of one of those. I mean, I think that's why Corey and Chris, as far as a team thing, it's your brother.
Yeah.
You know, they got a big advantage there, and they share bank accounts. So, you know, there's a financial reason. But at the end of the day, success makes it tougher because, you mean, you're going to have somebody hosting the trophy and somebody not, and that makes you want to.
For sure. Kind of like Ricky Bobby and
Shake and Bake.
Yeah. What was his name? His name Cal?
I think it was
Cal Naughton Jr. or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever I see them, it reminds me of that. Like the first day I was bed fishing and I seen, I think, is it Chris has the Under Armour wrap?
Yeah.
So he ran in this pocket and there's just 2 pockets like around the corner. He runs in and then 2 minutes later, his brother in the power pole wrap runs in. I was like, dang, that's crazy.
I've run a Yamaha outboard for over 30 years. It has got me home safe each and every time. If you enjoy this podcast, remember, Yamaha supports it and they care enough about you to make this ad read very short. Now back to the show.
How has that been? You know, you're a new angler on the Elite Series. What's it like standing back there with a lot of those dudes?
It's cool. I mean, never expected to be fishing against them all and to be in backlines with them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you think it's easier for you? Because, I mean, there's people, Kyle Patrick's a prime example. Kyle, huge geek for the sport. Very similar to me. You know what I mean? Like where he's paid attention to the history of it. He can tell you everything. Not being a crazy fan. Not that you weren't a fan, but you know what I mean? You don't have like a favorite pro growing up. Do you think it makes it easier or like less intimidating?
Maybe so.
Who's been the most intimidating guy on tour so far?
None of them.
Really? Everybody's very welcoming?
I wouldn't say welcoming now. I mean, some of them definitely probably aren't big fans of the young guys, but no one's been an asshole to me or anything, so it's all been really good. Been a ton of fun.
I think it's weird because people want it to be different. You know, like you hear people and they're like, I don't know why. If you go down the street, the guy that owns the pizza shop, guess what? He's probably not best friends with the guy who owns the pizza shop across the road. They're competitors.
Yeah,
like you guys are here to compete against each other and being civil but it's 102 guys. Everybody's got a different personality and you're all friggin' alphas. Like you all are here because you want to be the best.
Oh yeah. Well, I think everyone's so competitive and stuff. So I think that kind of affects that a little bit, but no one should ever be really mad. I mean, we're fishing for a living. Yeah. Tired of people complaining about stuff and I don't know. We're fishing for a living. Can't be mad about that.
Yeah, I would imagine, I mean, I can't see it from your eyes, but I would imagine that's very frustrating to be like, man, I'm here and this is what I've dreamed of and we're complaining.
Yeah, it's kind of gets upsetting sometimes, but I don't even think about it. I just go out there and go fish. And
do you think that'll ever change?
Probably not. There's always going to be complainers and whiners, stuff like that. So I don't know. I just want to have fun with it.
Yeah. Kind of how the world's gotten. I mean, everything is every storm has a name. It's no longer like a winter storm. It's an Arctic blast and it gets more traffic. Like, I mean, if me and you did this podcast and we said, hey, here's what pisses off the new Elite Series champion, it would get 10 times the amount of traffic. Does anything piss you off?
Nah.
When's the last time you got really mad in life at anything?
I don't know.
Stubbing your toe?
Yeah. The morning of the third day, I was running up the stairs.
Oh.
I thought I broke my toe. I was barefoot and I tripped and then somehow kicked the next stair. That made me mad.
It doesn't matter who you are, what you've accomplished. That sucks. It's a horrible level of pain. What's next for you?
Just gonna keep fishing. Try my best, try my hardest, and see what happens. Just keep my head down and keep working.
Did you get a chance to talk to Drew Cook after the weigh-in?
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
He was excited for me, and I know it didn't turn out like he wanted to, but it's just how it goes sometimes. But back in 2022, I did the Southern Division of Opens, and we went over to their house. I forget who all was staying there, but he had just won Santee Cooper, and he had the trophy in there. So it was pretty cool that I was standing up there with him, and it was the first trophy I'd ever seen in person, and it was his. So it was wild to be on the stage with him yesterday when it all went down. It was awesome.
Do you remember what he said to you? I mean, I saw him give you a quick hug when he went on stage. Did he say anything?
Congratulations, stuff like that.
Yeah. What is the coolest call or text you've got? Like, who's the most shocking person that reached out to you?
I've had so many. I don't know. But there's some really cool ones, like people I haven't seen in a long time that I was really close with, stuff that have texted me or called me, and it's been awesome.
I always find when people work towards this goal, there's a lot of people that support you, but there's always people that are like, yeah, you'll never do it. You'll never make it. Is there people that pushed you along the way through that lack of faith?
Yeah, I would say so. People being like, he ain't that good or whatever, but I don't care. I just want to go fish, catch big bass.
That seems to be it for you. I mean, just fishing.
Mm-hmm.
What's working out pretty good?
Oh, yeah. No, it's been good.
Well, you got 900 texts now?
I don't know. Which of them popping up.
You're going to be busy. Texas next. How are you feeling about that?
I'm pumped. I went to Lake Fork last year. It was after Eufaula, Oklahoma Open, and I got like 100-something place. So I was mad. So I went there, and I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think it won't be offshore, hopefully. I want to see another bedfish.
You don't?
No. They make me so mad, and they swim away, don't come back, or I don't know.
I would think growing up where you grow up, the bed fishing would be a thing.
It is for like 2 weeks out of the year, but it's fun. I've always went down it my whole life, but I like big spots and fishing offshore.
Yeah. You hunt as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you hunt for?
Deer, ducks, I mean, all of it pretty much.
Yeah. Is that different than fishing, like what that gives you?
No, and it's very similar. It's very similar, like trying to find, a deer with a big rack, the biggest rack that you can find, and figure out how to kill them or get in front of them. Just get around them. So it's very similar.
The way you fish is a lot like hunting. You know what I mean?
Similar.
You're checking boxes.
Yep.
You're just, with every one of those.
It's like hunting, especially fork, because probably be, catching really big ones. It'd be like hunting a grizzly bear with a spear or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool.
When you're making all those stops, when I'm seeing you quickly assess an area and move on, are you absorbing knowledge from those areas, or is it literally you're just looking for fish? Yeah,
for sure absorbing knowledge, seeing the bottom, see if there's holes. Like, it's weird, the last several years the grass is getting it's like not even grass, it's like this slimy stuff, and then there's like some moss, and it'll grow. I haven't seen it probably taller than 2 feet, but it grows really fast, and it'll be in I don't know. I'm looking for places that doesn't have much of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is that something that you went into the tournament looking for? Is that something, like, how much of this was fluid, like you put it together throughout the tournament, and how much of this was on Thursday or on Wednesday night when you went to bed before the first day of the tournament, you were like, I know what I'm doing?
Yeah, I knew what I was going to do after I fished Lanier all week last week, and just wanted to go do what I love to do, and it worked out.
Would that be your dream Elite Series tournament, a Lanier tournament?
Be pretty awesome.
What would be different between that tournament and Hartwell as far as like what spectators would see?
You'd just see like 20 bags over 20 pounds every day of spotted bass, so it'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
There's some big largemouth in Lanier too. There's getting more and more every year, so you'd see a lot of sight fishing and stuff like that as well.
It'd be a fun one.
It would be sick. Maybe we'll go one day.
I hope so. It'd be a great tournament. We were there a number of years ago, and it was a great tournament, and it's just gotten better. Why does it keep getting better?
No clue. Same thing with this lake, too. No one knows because there's so many tournaments. The fish are so smart, but it still takes big weight to win everything. It's unbelievable. We keep thinking it's going to get worse, and it gets like a pound heavier every year.
Yeah.
It takes to win.
We, in the north, I watched it happen with smallmouth, where largemouth would win, and then smallmouth were these mystical characters at one time, where people are like, oh, they're here today, gone tomorrow. But the smallmouth then started getting bigger and bigger. And now very few tournaments are won with largemouth. It's all smallmouth. It feels like the spots are getting bigger.
They are, but it's just like kind of a niche deal here. And like, I guess this area of the country, the blueback herring and how the lake's set up, so many humps and points, just the topography of the lakes is the best. I mean, it's perfect habitat for them. All the timber out there deep and they live in. I'd say we only fish for probably 80% of them.
Yeah.
The other ones are so deep and there's so much timber. It's hard. You can't target them. It's nearly impossible.
So do you think we'd ever have a situation where the spots would dominate tournaments here, or they just can't get big enough?
I mean, yeah, it's weird. Hartwell, the largemouth are up one day and then completely gone. Same thing, like offshore brush piles and stuff. Catch 25 pounds one day, the next day you won't even see a largemouth.
Does that have to do with the blueback herring, do you think?
I think so, and just water temperature and just, I don't know. I've never figured out the largemouth that good here or Lanier. I just never ran into them a ton.
Why do bass love blueback herring?
I guess they taste good.
Evidently. I mean, it changes how they...
It makes them so smart, though. It makes them so stubborn. Just the bluebacks are so fast and the water's so clear.
They just become better hunters, which makes them harder to hunt.
For sure. I mean, and there's so many, everywhere you look out there in like the middle of the lake or wherever, there's bait everywhere. I mean, why would they eat a lure?
Yeah. So. Of your 4 roommates, who's the last one you want to have to follow into the restroom?
Probably Loberg. He ate like 4 big kahunas from Jersey Mike's.
Oh, damn.
Where was it at? Okeechobee I think it was Okeechobee. Never went to the bathroom.
Oh, damn.
Still don't know what happened. No, I don't know. But all of us were all right.
It's a good group.
Oh, yeah. It's so much fun.
What's that tattoo in your hand mean?
Secret.
Damn it. Thought I could convince you. Will you ever tell me?
Nah.
Not even you win the Bassmaster Classic?
If I win the Classic, I might tell you.
Okay, make a deal.
Yeah.
You win the Classic, you'll tell me. All right, that's a deal. I won't ask you to get into it.
I got to get in the Classic first.
Well, you're well on your way. I mean, you and Tucker are trading blows on Rookie of the Year. It's
gonna be interesting. And Emil, he's coming. He's gonna catch him. We're all really good. Loberg, he had a tough start, but he's back. He's start catching them.
Was that hard? Like when you're all rooming together? Because Loberg, I mean, he's done very well. He's a great angler. But when you guys are doing what you're doing, and he's struggling, is that hard, or is it just like, hey, that's what we do?
It's fishing. That's what we do. So
yeah,
it's definitely difficult. Like I've done bad, and everyone else has caught them this year, and then I don't know, just put my head down and go fish. And I think that's what he's done too, and it's what all of us, we're going to struggle. It's going to happen. I mean, can't catch them every time.
You ever watch a Greg Hackney interview?
I've seen several of them.
You ever realize how he says, you know what I mean?
Never realized it.
And he says it a lot. You realize I don't know is your I know, you know what I mean? Has that always been the way?
Yes, so. I don't want to be like certain about anything. I never want to be certain about anything.
Why?
I don't know.
Are you a confident person, do you think?
I think so.
You a competitive person, like in other ways outside of fishing?
Yeah.
Like what? Cornhole?
Getting to the ramp first, the roommates, or doing, anything.
That's just bred into you. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to get to the ramp first? Just to be like, I'm here.
Yeah, but it never happens. Loberg's first one every time. So.
Where do you set? Are you one of the later ones?
Yeah, I would say so.
So you're not a morning person?
Nah.
Tucker hates the morning too.
Yeah, and the offshore fish, they don't bite till the afternoon anyway. We're all afternoon anglers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, you're an Elite Series champion.
It's crazy.
It's freaking nuts. Did you have a moment yesterday with what'd you do last night?
We all went and ate Mexican, got a table for like 25 people or something, and then just went and hung out at the house. Logan Parks came over. Him and his wife stayed too. It was just a good time. We all just hung out, sat in the living room, and we all just talked. It was awesome.
Yeah. You drink?
Yeah, just a little bit. Nothing crazy.
Not a big drinker?
Nah.
Did you sit and look at that trophy at all?
Yeah, we put it in the middle of the table. Well, we sat there for an hour. I was like, screw this. I'm going to get the trophy. My biceps are hurting. I had to hold it for so long yesterday. Thing's heavy.
Yeah. Your reaction on stage was awesome. Your reaction off mic was even more awesome. But that is, I don't know why they make them so heavy.
I like it. It's cool.
It's cool, but it is shocking. I think it's 44 pounds.
I knew it had to be close to 50.
Yeah. It's shocking, though. Everybody does the same thing. They hoist it, and they're like, what the?
It was crazy.
What did you think as soon as you woke up this morning? Like, did you wake up and be like, I'm an Elite Series champion, or was it?
I don't know. I mean, I got up at like 9, so I slept in a decent bed. But I got up and I was like, man, I can't believe that's happened.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while to realize it.
Well, get used to it, dude. Nobody's taking it away from you, and I got a feeling it's your first of many.
Maybe so.
Knock on wood. You superstitious guy?
A little bit, not really.
Well, you knocked on wood, so you got to be a little bit. What other superstitions you got? That's about it.
None that I can think of, but I got several.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to Chick-fil-A every night.
Did you feel bad? It was the Whataburger event. Did you feel bad about that?
Well, it's just so easy. There was a Starbucks, a Chick-fil-A, and a gas station all in the same parking lot. It was just perfect. So you go there, you get the same meal every time, same drink every time. Because you were catching them.
So if you hadn't caught them one day, that would have changed up?
Probably so.
Is that always the way? Like when you're catching them?
It just worked out so perfect how they all were in the same parking lot, and it was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you don't like doing these, but I appreciate it.
I've enjoyed it. I'm trying to talk more. I don't know. Sorry, guys.
No, you don't have to apologize. You're you. Like you do more of these, and you'll get more comfortable with it. And if you keep winning these, I mean, you're probably going to do a few podcasts in the next couple of weeks.
I think so.
Yeah. So how do we help you be better at it?
It's just practice.
Yeah.
Just keep doing them.
Yeah. Will you tell those dudes what the tattoo's about, those other podcasts, when they're very good at getting stuff out of people?
No. I don't.
So who knows? Just the people that have it?
Just us three. I mean, some people know what the word part but they don't know the other part of the word. So it's all good.
It's all amaze.
Yep.
Well, I look forward to learning more about you, and congrats.
It's fun. I just hope we have another spotted bass tournament one day.
I'm sure we will.
Herring spotted bass.
I'm sure we will. I mean, at very least, they did not build that facility at Hartwell for us not to go back there. I'm sure we'll be back there. I'm sure we'll have a classic there again. How would a classic set up for you that time of year?
Probably pretty good. As long as it stays cold. So like 80 degrees or something in March, but probably pretty good.
Well, I look forward to
maybe
watching.
Maybe could get 20 pounds of spots that time of year. That would be cool.
Could you do it 3 days in a row?
Probably.
I'd love a Lanier Classic. Gosh, that'd be awesome.
I think we'd have the facilities there to do it, I think.
Where would you have the weigh-in?
There's so many arenas 30 minutes from the dam or so, definitely could do it. They had the cup there.
Yeah.
I forget when that was, 2013 or something like that.
You just brought that up. I was just about to finish, but you had a big finish at the Red Crest.
Mm-hmm.
How much did that help you in this tournament?
A lot. I bed fished because you don't use live scope for one of the 3 periods. So I bed fished to survive the day, and then I had some offshore stuff that there was bed and fish too, but they were I could catch them so quick, and it's catch all you can. They weren't big ones, but they were big enough. So got fourth in that. It was awesome. But bed fishing, I'm practicing. Getting better at it.
What did that limiting it to 1 quarter do to you?
I just didn't know how to practice
Yeah.
The main thing not knowing how to practice was like trying to find the smaller, like just keeper fish and a lot of them, because usually just looking for 5 bites, and it was strange. So I was like tying on little baits and stuff I would never throw, just like I was going to go fish a pond for little bass. But it was cool.
It's weird watching that as a fan, because that was what I kind of pushed. Me and Davey wanted Bass to do that, not choose your period, but we wanted if we're going to make it illegal except for the last 2 hours and have like the power hour thing. And when I've watched what happened at MLF, I almost think the power hour works better because you can't choose. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's the final 2 hours. Everyone's doing it at the same time. But it feels like, and I don't know him, but when I watch Drew Gill compete and different guys that are very good at it over there, it feels like it makes them better at it because you know what I mean? You take somebody who's really good at something. And I don't think it's forward-facing sonar's no different, but you tell Drew Cook you can only sight fish for 2 hours of this. You're going to see a much different Drew Cook sight fish, and that's did it feel like that to you?
I guess so. I mean, definitely couldn't mess up at all. I mean, you lose one, it really hurts then. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've enjoyed this.
It was fun.
Elite Series champion, Paul freaking Marks.
A great conversation with two great dudes. Paul Marks was very rattled. He was quite nervous. I don't know why. I mean, I guess those are the trials and tribulations of when you win an Elite Series event and only your 4th Elite Series event. I mean, give him some podcast time. I enjoyed it, and I will find out what that freaking tattoo means. Hey, quick reminder. Abu Revo Premiere. I want to give it to you. All you got to do is be a decent folk and go over to Spotify and Apple. Leave us a 5-star rating and review, and we will pick maybe you and send you this Bad Mama Jamma. You will love it. I love that you guys tune in each and every week. Have a great week. Enjoy being. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?